imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total Protonic Reversal.
Protonic Reversal.
Protonic Reversal with your host, Conan Neutron. Broadcasting from a secret underground lair in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A gigantic middle finger to everything that is rock about music, rock and roll, and corporate power.
The thing is, though, if you don't laugh, you're going to go on a killing spree with sharpened nails.
Confidence of a hero or a fool. I wasn't exactly certain which.
Could not be more professional.
It's only one I choose to go my life to. That's okay.
It means something. It means something.
And take that away.
You know, that's my take. What's yours?
Protonic Reversal!
That's like a science thing, right?
Indeed, indeed, indeed. It is a science thing. It is a science place. It is a scientific fact. We are all up in your face. It is time for the one, the only
Protonic Reversal.
Welcome to it. Cool. Tonight's episode. I feel like I need to get a more dramatic read on that. Tonight's episode, Lori Barbero of the Incredible Babes in Toyland. Really excited for this. Should be a good time. Yeah, she's great. She's a badass, and looking forward to that talk. Cool. Thanks for. There's been a lot of recent activity in regards to the show. Thank you for all that. Again, the archives, radioneutron.com. When the show airs, is at radionope.com. This is yet another stay-at-home edition. Protonic Reversal, Patreon, patreon.com/Protonic Reversal. It's not compulsory. You get the episodes for free no matter what. No sponsors, no ads. No kidding. But if you want to spend $1 a month, you can get the episodes quicker. That's what the Patreon's all about. And there you go. That's the news. That's a different show. So that's about it. I want to make sure there's not as much time on this Tuesday stay-at-home edition because there are other shows. So I kind of want to just sort of get to it. Let me play you a tune, then we'll have Lori on, and it'll be a good time. Oh, almost forgot. Thank you, folks sharing the show around. That's how people find out about it. It may seem counterintuitive to do it, but if you get something out of it, if you like it, that's how people find out about it. So thanks to everyone who's been doing that. That's really awesome. Really appreciate it. Just thanks, man. Thanks, man. Okay, so let's hear a song, then we'll be out with Lori Barbero.
I live it high cost.
That's right. Sweet 69 off of the Nemesis Sisters record. That's, of course, Babes in Toyland. And with us now, we have none other than the legend herself, Lori Barbero. Lori, welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing? How are you dealing with quarantine life? How's your quarantine?
You know, being an extrovert, it's a little difficult. Being a bartender, it's difficult. It's difficult for everybody.
Yeah.
But you know, and also, I probably am one of the only people I know that it's just me. It's me in my house with no pet, no children, no partner, no nothing.
Oh man, that's some like Kane from Kung Fu stuff. Like what? That's crazy.
I do have the same birthday as Bruce Lee.
Nice. I was gonna say no one's around to bitch at you when you do karate, I suppose. Or look at you weirdly. Oh, no, he did Kung Fu, didn't he? What's it? God, oh, that's terrible.
He did. Did he? Yeah.
But if you did karate, that's the important thing.
Okay. But you know what? I am keeping myself busy. I just I have lots of tasks in my big old house that I've been meaning to tackle for a long time. I've lived it for 27 years, I guess. And so the accumulation of things and a lot of walk-in closets where you just throw stuff in there.
Yeah.
Then you open it up and everything just falls out like a cartoon and you go, oh my God. So
you just turn to the camera and go like, bah.
But yeah, you know, I have been just listening to my records and cleaning and cooking and just doing a lot of nice things to keep my time busy. And I get anxiety when I think about reality, you know, but I just try and distract myself and, you know, make the most of what I got under this my roof. And yeah. So my latest project, I just went through about, I don't even know, I didn't count, but thousands, probably over 6,000 photos that.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Bins and bins and bins of. And so I'm just finishing up. I'll probably be done tonight. Ta-da.
Well, that's awesome. Ta-da. Exactly. Well, sorry to interrupt the photo sorting project to have you on the show, but I'm sure it'll still be there later.
Yeah, no, 6 weeks in, but you know what I mean? I just categorized and then.
God, how many do you think you've gone through?
Probably like, I don't know, 5,000-6,000. I don't know. I have thousands and thousands, and then I wrote on the backs of each individual one of them. Like who it is, where it is, the date, if I know any of that.
Such a good idea.
So, 'cause, you know, when I'm dead and gone, just like my ancestors, my grandparents, you get these pictures, you're like, who the F is that? I have no idea, so you just throw them away because I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that was that.
Sure that my photos, people know that yes, that in fact was the Melvins playing at Grumpy's.
Right. Yeah, that's a super smart idea. Like that's and especially because obviously you're gonna know when you get the picture back, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's it's a great picture of Dave or whatever, and then like you'll know that at least the general time, and this is like film that's been sitting around for a dog's age. So that's a super good idea. Are you gonna do something? Are you gonna like a book out of them or something? Like what's happening?
Oh, I don't know.
You should do it. I haven't even seen him, but you should do it. That's my that's my take on it.
I've got a few thousand rock and roll photos, so that could date back to the 80s. So I worked at a punk rock club in downtown Minneapolis. So and I graduated from high school in New York and went to shows there. I don't really have many in high school. I think I was just I didn't really think about photos. I was having too much fun.
You're in the moment.
But then when I came to Minneapolis, I just had some great, I've took tons of photos of every single show when I was out 7 nights a week. So I've got thousands and thousands of photos.
That's amazing. That's actually really fantastic, and something that, I'm sure it must be daunting if you're sorting through them, but by the same token, like to have the ability to instantly kind of go back in time and look at, that's fantastic. That's really interesting.
It has been. It's been super fun. I was telling a friend on the phone earlier. I said, it's really fun to have these memories, and it's really fun because I haven't looked at these photos. They got developed, and then I got the pack back, and then I threw them in a box, and then the box went into bins, and then I had like seven bins, 8, 9 bins, something like that. Storage bins filled with photos. So going through these, some of them I haven't seen in 45 years.
Jeez.
So it's pretty crazy, but for some reason, I've always been pretty damn organized. And I don't know if it's my OCD, I don't know what it is, but those you used to get photos developed. You can get them in these little packs, and on the packs that are with the negatives, I wrote usually who it was and the date and where it was.
It's like such a small thing, but that makes all the difference in the world. That's crazy. Like I have so many just like everybody that, actually, for the younger listeners, there were these things called cameras before there were phones. It was like the thing in your phone, but no, but I have this, just boxes of just, everything mixed together, like this tour, that tour, this year, that year, who knows? It's all over the damn place. And it would have been, what they say, ounce prevention's worth a pound of cure, right? That would just an ounce of preparation would have made that task much easier. That's such a small form genius move.
It is kind of crazy. I mean, I'm glad that I'm organized like that, but if I was really organized, I probably would have put them in photo albums. But I think once the band started in the late 80s, I would come back with, 15 rolls of film or whatever. And then I would just, even if I came back, I mean, we were touring 10 months a year for 10 years. And so it just I think that's when it just kind of went haywire. And I just wrote on them and then threw them in a box and wrote on them and threw them in a box. And I'll get to them someday. Well, 6 weeks.
Global pandemic. Here you go. You got some time. So it's very darkly funny. It's not really that funny, but.
But yeah, no, so about 6 weeks ago yesterday was my okay, well, someday has started.
Yeah.
And it actually, it's an emotional roller coaster, though. There's a lot where it's just like, I had to take off. I've had to take off a few days because there's a lot of photos that really just took a toll on me.
Yeah, because kind of heavy, kind of seeing things that bring back some memories. Maybe not all of them great.
Yep, exactly. If my life was kittens no, I actually like dogs better than cats. I love cats. I'm allergic, but I'm a dog freak. Ola. But no, I mean, I'm doing okay. And if I ever start coming, just kind of going, whatever, I just go, you know what? There's so many more millions of people that have it so far worse off than I do, and you just
totally
gotta,
that's absolutely the way to look at it.
Couple of chipper.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think, because people have been, don't get me wrong, like I've like many others myself, like I got laid off from the day job, can't go out and tour, can't do much of anything, but guess what? I got a roof over my head, like I've got. I've got like musical instruments and like got this show and things along those lines. Like they think I'm going to complain about it. There's nobody actively burning my fields or like, raping my family or anything along those lines. I just got like, wait, that's like a dark turn. Sorry about that.
there's thousands. I mean, right now, I mean, even just think of it, what's going on behind doors that nobody knows about, and I mean, I'm not trying to be negative or horrible or go to the worst, but I mean, no one knows what's going to behind all of these closed doors, man. There are people and there are children and there are dogs that are all getting abused, and it's because, and stress, the stress, the anxiety, just everything. I mean, even in my neighborhood, we have this little app called Nextdoor.
Oh God, racist Nextdoor. Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah. There's people just throwing their pets out into the street.
Oh, come on.
Because there are so many posts of people going, this dog's running down the street. This dog, I mean, every day there's like 40 dogs running down the street, and usually there's maybe one every 3 days. And every day there's so many, and I think people are just kicking their pets out of the house because they can't even afford it themselves, and they're just full of their animals. And I think I just need to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to do something. I got to save everything, but I wish I could. But you know what I mean? So,
well, and that's the worst thing about it is the powerlessness of it all, right? Like the fact that this is something that you could be the smartest person in the world. You could, you could even have all the money in the world. It's not really going to make that big of a difference. Like it's just such a all-encompassing thing. The only way you can really even get through it is if you just focus on the part you do have control over. Like, bucket one, bucket two, like they say.
Yeah, we don't have control over anything. I mean, even it's the fact that people are protesting. It's like, you're protesting something that's out of anybody's control. Sure, we shut shit down. I'd love to shut your fucking mouth, but
I know it's
doors, and we are not. I'm sorry, you don't have any money, but guess what? Nobody has any money. But guess what? We are staying home, and we're being smart about not going out in public. And you people who are going out and protesting, going, well, me, it's just these people that have always gotten everything they wanted since they were born, and they just go, wah, and then they get a silver spoon put in their mouth, and it's just utter sheer
I want to go to brunch. Jesus Christ. You think it's not the most important thing right now? Like, how many lives would you, of other people who, I guess there's the problem, because they're the main character, so everyone else is like an NPC, right?
Oh, wait, but I want my haircut.
Yeah.
Haircuts. I'm like, are you kidding me? Who doesn't own a pair of scissors?
Yeah, come on. I mean, the whole thing is so ridiculous, and I feel like I have a tendency to dwell on it, but one of the only good things, and there's no good thing about this pandemic, is that everybody is in the same boat. Everybody's in the same boat. So therefore, I don't feel so bad saying things like, I'm not one to wish ill on anyone, but sometimes you look at these people and you like to hope for a little natural selection, maybe. But
yep, and if they keep keeping it up, they're these immortals. They're immortal mortals. That's what they think they are.
Yeah. The rules don't apply to me. That's for other people.
They're it's so far up their ass that maybe they can't get the pandemic because their head is up their ass.
Yeah. That's good.
I'm gonna use that. Oh, I just did.
Yeah. I was gonna say you just broke that bit.
But I could say that there is something good that's happening. The air is cleaner. The sky is bluer.
Yeah.
It's so much more quieter. And there's just so many really unbelievably cool things that are happening from that. I mean, the people, I live about a mile from First Avenue in downtown Minneapolis, a mile and a half. Okay.
Right.
I can see the tall buildings. The IDS building is the tallest building there. I just out my door, I can just look out my window and see it from my house, but there's people that are posting, families of possums, families of foxes, foxes playing in my friend's yard right in the heart of the city, little baby kits, and the mom, and they're jumping all around, and it's incredible. I mean, it's going to be sad because all of a sudden they aren't going to know where to go or any of this stuff. But, nature gets a little taste of some fun for a change, and even though, hunting season has started, of course they have to have some hunting season. Don't stop that. Because the good old boys need to go out and shoot some shit.
It's the good old boys. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what are you compensating for? Why is this so important to you, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's, but, so that's good, but, everyone is in the same boat, and these people that just think, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, I want to do this. It's like, yeah, oh, okay, well, I'm glad that you are so much more special than the other 3.3 million people in the Twin Cities. I'm talking about Minneapolis, like the protest at the governor's mansion in Minneapolis, or in St. Paul. But, we have 3.5 million people here. Not 3.3. I think it's 3.5 million people in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the Twin Cities. And, just the fact that like 600 people think that they are so much more important and entitled than anyone else, the 3.5 million people in town, that, you know, I just...
It's kind of a mind blower, right?
Yeah, we don't want anything to open. I mean, it's, of course we do, but it's not going to happen, and we have no control over it. Like, oh my God.
Well, and it's just all these folks that seem to have no control over these more baseline urges, right? You know, where it's sort of like you have to be an adult right now. I'm sorry, but you just have to. Like, believe me, there's other things I'd rather be doing as well, you know, and it's trying to explain it is just, there's just like this divide that, and I think part of it has to do with the fact that unfortunately we're in a situation where people can kind of choose their news, and
they do.
I don't think that's the best thing.
Check the facts, just look around, you know, but just, there's some people that only listen to A, B, and C. They've never listened to X, Y, Z. And that's okay. Sometimes I will listen to A, B, C because I want to hear what the F is going on there, because it's reality of our neighbors, not our friends, but our neighbors are not my friends. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not speaking for everybody, but you know, and so, but anyways, yeah, the rock and roll scene, I mean, is now,
yes.
No rock and roll, no rock shows, no festivals,
no touring, no nothing.
Touring. No, I'm sure. One of the first things I said when they canceled South by Southwest, that was the first thing where I just went, "Holy crap!"
Yeah. That's what I was talking to Dale, and we were both like, "Oh, that's for real." Like once he canceled South by Southwest, like there's a lot of money tied up in that.
Yep, and I mean that was the very beginning, and that was like the first thing, and you just go, "Oh man!" I mean, that was.
You lived down there for a bit, didn't you? Didn't you live in Austin for a little bit?
Did, and I worked at South by Southwest for 7 years.
Yeah, so you gotta you know more than a lot of others that's that was not an easy call, I'm sure.
I was an assistant production manager, and had 7, 8, 9 stages. Every single year that I was the production manager for, and it was so great, and I loved it so much. And I started there the first year I was down there. I got down there on New Year's, and I had started within just, I guess, a few weeks after that. I got interviewed by the woman who ran it, Leslie Eppinghaus, and she goes, you don't recognize me. And I go, you know what? I saw your name, and now I look at you, and I don't know if I recognize you. I'm so great with faces, but I said, your name, who knows that name, you know, and what's up with that? She goes, I was a sound engineer at, the Satyricon in Portland, Oregon.
No way! Small world of funny.
Do your shows before you brought sound engineers on tour with you, if you ever did that. And I was like, oh my God. So, but and she told me that after we did our interview.
Okay.
And
wow.
Now what's really funny, she told me what the clincher was, we talked about all these things that I had done, and all these things I had done, and all this, and she said, and I said, and you know, in 2002, I was Courtney Love's personal assistant, and was with her in Hawaii and in England when she got arrested for the air rage thing on Virgin Airlines.
Right.
So I was with her for I was with her in Hawaii for a few months. She was trying to write an album, and then Linda Perry, and I don't know, there's Patty Schemmel and all that. So I was in Hawaii with her for a long time. Then I went to and then did that whole thing in London. And she goes, "Yep, if you can work with her, you can be the president."
Right.
She's like, I overqualified. And so I started the job, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah, like, here's your trophy. Thank you for your service.
that was really, really such an incredibly great time for me. I mean, I just loved it. Working at South by Southwest and having all these stages and crossing paths with old friends, meeting new friends, seeing bands I've always wanted to see and never got to see. And, it was really, really hard work. Oh, my God. It was such hard work because so many of the bands were from other countries and you had to reach out to them. And a lot of them didn't speak English and trying to explain everything to them, like all of the rules and all of the information and everything.
It's a lot to convey, and that's at the best of time when there's not a language barrier.
Yeah, the groundwork you put to do it is incredible, and then they do it, and it's kind of now back to its roots again. Brent Grelke passed away and Leslie Eppinghaus left, and those were the two that ran it forever, and now it's just it's gotten back down to where I don't think they're gonna have a Dorito stage, you know what I mean?
Right. On the Monster Energy stage we have.
Yeah.
I've been I've played once.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know who was going to play there this year, but I was going to go down there. I was invited to go down there. So I was planning on that too. And I was also supposed to go to Jamaica. I would have gotten back probably like 3 weeks ago now. Cause I've been in my house for 6 weeks. I go hiking, but I've gone hiking in the past week, but for 5 weeks, I didn't go anywhere until I went out to the grocery store. And then the last week I've been doing stuff because I got some masks and I just wanted to just really play it safe for I still am, but I didn't even go to the grocery store. I didn't do it. I went to the grocery store the day before I decided I wasn't going to leave my house after my last shift. So for 5 weeks I didn't leave. I didn't leave. I didn't go anywhere.
Man, I've talked a lot about things being like space station life, but that's real space station life right there. That's just you and your pictures, floating around Mars.
That's what I did. It's better to float on Mars than Uranus. Ron.
yeah, right. So I feel like we jumped around like a lot of really interesting stuff there, and I don't want to keep up on all of that, but I think it's interesting that like a lot of people that maybe didn't know Babes in Toyland so much other than just from like the songs or the fact that it was a band don't realize, I mean, you've been kind of like, God, I hate to use the word, but like scene mainstay for like a really long time. Like you've been around, not just Minneapolis, but you mentioned you lived in New York for a bit. Like you've been involved in music, even beyond just playing and touring the world and putting out these records, and especially at this very interesting formative time that everything sort of changed. But you've been able to get like a sort of, I would imagine, longer distance view than others when it comes time to where music is at and things like that, and I'm really curious as to like, what's your take? Well, obviously pandemic times is its own thing, but what's your take on things right now? Like where do you think music is at now?
Right now,
I mean, right now it's screwed. Nobody can tour and everybody's playing guitar at the camera, but and
acoustic. And you know what? I like rock and roll, so right now is not my time.
Preach, sister. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Amplified music is really, of course, I see my friends playing and it's like good and all that stuff, but this, I can only, I'm an amplified girl. I mean, my ears are ringing so hard right now from my extreme tinnitus that I have. Sitting in my house is just, yesterday I was going, man, it is so loud. I wonder if my neighbors can hear my tinnitus. I mean, it is.
That would be pretty bad tinnitus, yeah.
Really, it's so bad. But I like rock and roll, so this right now is not the time for my music. And And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that are doing great things, but I like amplification. I like the Melvins. I like Motorhead. I like Queens of Stone Age. I like rock and roll. Prince today is his anniversary. 4 years ago I was in Flagstaff, Arizona, the day that he died. Oh my God. But we can go back to that. But so I just don't I'm hoping that people are writing really good rock songs right now, but I think it's hard. I don't think there's a lot of anger right now. I think rock and roll is made for more like, just life of hard knocks kind of stuff. I mean, this is rough, but I just think that, people are just having a really, really hard time. And I think that it's kind of more like, I don't know, the xylophone and breathy air music.
Like vaguely sad, pleasantly consonant background music.
Worst shit in the world. I'm not kidding. My niece is 7 years old and she writes a journal. I asked her if I could read it and play a xylophone and record it and become a millionaire. And she didn't really understand what I was saying, and my brother was laughing so hard. I will be a millionaire. I'm gonna read my 7-year-old niece's diary, and I'm gonna play the xylophone and go, I went skiing today.
It's just like this.
And I get it. I don't get it. I don't know. I mean, it's a thing, but I just never really dug music that my grandma, who was 105 and passed away a few months ago. I just would never, I don't think that I would really like music that she would tap her toes to, or think that it was pleasant or pretty. Because, besides the obvious, there's great music. My grandma turned me on to Billie Holiday. My other grandma, my father's mother,
But there's some meat behind that, though. And I think that's worth noting, the distinction when it's something that can be like quiet music or sad music or whatever, but when there's something to kind of latch onto that has a little more, I don't know, panache? I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
I don't know, you can feel the genuine, there's genuine instead of, it's just, I don't know. So, but I don't know what's going to happen, but I think by the time that rock shows and music festivals can happen again, which I'm guessing is probably not going to be for about another 16 months, a year to 12 to 16 months, I'm guessing. Then I think there should be some good rock bands. I really do. I think people are just writing stuff, and but it's hard to when there's no amplification. You can't go to your rehearsal space and kick out the jams, And so what do you do? I mean, I don't know. I don't read or write music, so I can't really do anything, but besides listen to that ringing in my ears.
Constant companion,
I put a little drum beat to that shit. But anyways, just crazy, I mean, I don't even know what to think, and traveling and just everything that has to do with all that. I mean, but the first thing I thought of when South by Southwest canceled was, oh my God, they're going to cancel the Minnesota State Fair. And that's when these tears are going to roll down my friggin' fat face. I'm going to be sobbing, because that is my aorta to my Twin Cities life and love. I State Fair probably, I don't know, 4 to 7 times out of 10 days, probably. It's a 10-day ordeal. I love it, and I've been going since I was a little kid. I have tons of photographs to prove it.
Right.
But it's the second largest one in the United States, and it's just absolutely just the best. And so, that's when I'm going to be just absolutely heartbroken. They've already closed the beaches for the summertime. They've closed pools. We aren't in Florida. The oceans aren't open. The beaches aren't open. But in Minnesota, our governor is awesome. We are so fortunate to have Tim Walz. He's good, and because the president doesn't know how to run the country. the governors are running the states, and so it's like kind of state by state. We're all going to become our own country pretty soon.
It kind of seems like it's going that way. and
Yeah.
And there's going to be folks like South Dakota we'll have to take in refugees from or something, you know?
I mean, it's incredible. But we're very fortunate to have Tim Wells. He's doing a great job. And we're just lucky. I mean, Minnesota, we're lucky. We have 3M here that makes the masks. We have Protonic that makes the ventilators. I'm not saying that we're getting them all, but it's at our back door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have all of the medics, and we have we have Mayo Clinic. It's pretty nourishing here, and I feel pretty safe. Besides having a really good security system in my house.
So that's good to know too. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I got it installed about 6 months ago, I guess, maybe. Thank God that I did. It's on my garage and it's on my house, and it's on when I'm in my house, and without that I would be freaking out, but I feel very secure and very content in my.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So, all right. First of all, I want to honor the fact that, like, there's going to be a lot of people who be super pissed at me if I don't start asking some questions about the goddamn band. So I want to get...
Let's go to the goddamn band. Right, though? Or can I make my own shit? Just kidding. I'll answer them.
No. I'm curious, too, because, what was it was about 5 years ago that you and Kat got back together, and you guys were playing shows. It was kind of going for a while, and then it kind of stopped. I understand there was there was some light drama from the outside in regards to bass player, and then it kind of seemed like there was not a lot of clear ideas about what was happening. Like, what will you go on record and say exactly, from your perspective, whatever you can about the Babes in Toyland reunion?
Uh-huh.
Is it done again? Is it just kind of on hold like everything else? Like what's going on?
It is done again, and it's done because quite honestly, Kat is an addict, and she is not a functioning addict anymore. So,
gotcha.
That's the bottom line. We got together 5 years ago, and we, with the help of 3 lovely gentlemen in California. And they still are phenomenal men, but without them, we could have never have done it. They had our backs, and I lived in Austin, Kat lived in Minneapolis, and Maureen lived in LA. And we'd go to LA because Maureen had a daughter that she couldn't travel, and her daughter was in school. And I was like, yeah, I'll leave Austin to go to LA. I've got a lot of friends out there. But we would rehearse for a solid week. We had a rehearsal space. We'd go to the studio. It's like a rental studio space thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go there, rehearse. Then we did our shows. And then we had a bass player change. And Kat had asked somebody if they wanted to play bass when we were out at a show. I think it might have been maybe Lee Ronaldo at the Triple Rock or something. I don't even remember. It was somebody was playing, and all I know is that Kat said, "Oh, I want her to play bass," and then she just asked her, and then from there, and then we had to take. This was when we kind of already had a bass player, so then that went whatever.
Yeah, because you were playing with Maureen, right?
Yes. So Maureen was not in the picture anymore, and then we had the Clara Salyer do it. And it rocked the world. And the last show that we did was that Cal Jam that Dave Grohl does in Santa Barbara. No, not San Bernardino. Where San Bernardino? Which is one that's right in LA. It's like, is that San Bernardino?
Yeah, San Bernardino County.
But is there a town called San Bernardino?
There is San Bernardino. I think that's where they had remember the US Festival? I think that was San Bernardino, if I remember right.
Okay, well, I think that's where the Cal Jam was too.
Okay.
San Bernardino, because I own land in Yuck Valley.
Yes.
In San Bernardino.
I've seen the pictures on your Instagram.
Yeah, so we drove out there.
That sounds creepy as hell. I'm sorry.
No. We went out there and played that, and then that was the last show that we ever played because after that that was the end. That was all that. That was the end of the functioning, and that was really, really, really a non-functioning show. So it was a great show. It really was. But yeah, that was after that. It went within 2 months. We couldn't even rehearse. There was not even. We went over and tried to rehearse, and it was not even like couldn't even walk 10 feet to get to a guitar. So that was the end of that. And I had booked actually 4 shows because the Super Bowl was here. Mm-hmm. And I booked 4 shows during that, which would have been so much fun. And after trying to rehearse once, I was like, nope, it's done. The past 2 months have turned into it's never going to happen again. And so it's really sad. It breaks my heart, and there's nothing I can do to change it at all. I don't think anyone can change it. I don't even think if she even tried to, I don't know. But, cause I haven't seen her for over a year, probably. She lives just a few blocks from me, but, and she's living her life. I talked to her a few weeks ago. She called me and said she'd keep in touch, and then I never heard from her, but that's always how it goes. All these people had all these things saying, oh, I said that she disappeared, and I'm like, I never said she disappeared. I've never said that. I've never said Kat disappeared.
Yeah.
I've never. She just doesn't keep in contact, and she never has phones, and there's no way to,
Turns out it's easier when you have a phone to keep in contact with someone.
Yeah. So basically, it's a huge drag, and it just breaks my heart because, man, we could be ruling, we could be traveling and touring and having so much fun. Because when we did do it, it was really fun, but that last drive out to California, not so fun. No bueno. Even though the show was great, the festival was just a blast, and
it was San Bernardino, by the way. I double checked it.
It is okay. Yeah,
it's gonna bother me. I was gonna wake up in the middle of the night and be like San Bernardino, but
yeah, I thought. And
you're right.
So that pretty much was the clincher, and that's the story. And now Clara has moved to Michigan. And I actually don't know where Kat lives, to be honest. But like I said, I just talked to her it was probably more like 5 weeks ago. And she said that she'd keep in touch. She always says that, and then she never does. And so, but I hadn't talked to her for probably 7 months before that or something. But
yeah.
So it's a drag because she's like, I never had a sister. So I'm always like, you're my sister. And, she's wonderful, and I love her. She's my sister. We've experienced more together than, as much as any other person that has traveled into her. 30 years we were a team.
Well, yeah, you develop that almost kind of shared brain telepathy thing that happens when you just play with someone for so long, where you just can, it isn't even like you're thinking about it. It's just snaps right in.
Yeah. It's crazy, but so that is what happened there. And, I don't know. It's really, yeah. So anyway,
so, cause you guys started up, 87. Is that right? Am I
believe so. I'm so bad with that stuff. You don't, listening to the tail end of, was it Sweet 69? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never listened to our records. So
Really? Really? They're
Nope.
good. You should check them out.
I'm a weirdo. I listened to him in the studio, and then once it left the studio, I never listened to him again. And I've never watched videos.
Wow.
I've never read any of the books that has to do with us or anything. I think I read the New York Times article. That was really one of the only things I ever read. I think it's because my dad gave it to me or something because we used to live in New York, and that's what.
Yeah, that's a pretty big freaking deal, especially if you're from the area. I mean, even if you're not from the area, it's still a pretty big deal. But that's a pretty big deal.
And so that's when my dad was really, really proud. And I remember him just telling me, so I read it because my dad was proud, and I tried my whole life to make him proud of me. So I was, yay.
That's awesome.
I think that's really honestly one of the only articles I ever read. And, this guy wrote a book, and I haven't read that, and he gets really hurt, but it's like, don't take it personally. I've never even listened to the record. So,
Yeah, it's not about you, buddy. Yeah.
And everyone says, you're the hero and this, and I'm like, that's fine, and I trust you, but I'm a weirdo. And then people told me that Johnny Depp's never watched any of his movies either. I'm like, see, we have something in common.
Yeah, there you go. You got something to talk about when you meet up.
Yeah. I just didn't talk to him about that. Yeah. So, but yeah, life. You know what? If I died tomorrow, I would be like, I lived a fucking totally great life so far. I've great friends. I've experienced the coolest things. I really am. I call it luck, but I also I worked really, really hard, and I used to promote shows.
Yeah.
In fact, Ian, because I brought Minor Threat here in 1982.
Nice.
It's the only time they ever played in Minneapolis. And so Ian he's putting a book together, I guess, and he was like, "What's the address of that place?" And he's like, "You took those pictures you gave me, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I took those pictures. I did the show. I put the show together. I was 21 years old, and I rented a hall, got insurance, and put this show together with Minor Threat. It was so fun.
That's awesome. That's so badass. I mean, in like a lifetime of doing badass stuff, like that's a
It was a Full Hearts Club. That's kind of like a VFW, but I found a space and I rented it, and got it all together, and they stayed at my house, and we had so much fun. I was 21 years old then, and we're still buddies. So I'm pretty lucky. And then I had a record label and called Spanish Fly Records. All that kind of stuff in South by. So rock and roll has pretty much been my life. I guess everything I eat, shit, and breathe, like music. I guess kind of.
Well, have you been since the Babes in Toyland Redux? Have you been playing it? I mean, obviously not playing right now because no one's playing right now. But I mean, have you been keeping up playing drums? Have you been playing with anyone else? Like, what's been going on in the program other than like sorting through pictures?
I have not been playing with anyone else. Because my tinnitus has been a little bad. I do have custom earplugs. I think I need to get new ones because your ears change shape as you get older.
Yeah.
And I've probably had these ones for, I don't know, 7-8 years or something like that. So I just need to get new ones with different filters. They just get old. And but I wear them. I wear them when I work. I bartend at a VFW, but they have a lot of rock shows there. There's a huge dance night there, and so it's always volume. And I have to wear them and stuff. But I had a drum kit, and then I sold it in Austin, Texas, because I had nowhere to keep it. And then
it is so much more difficult when you're a drummer that way, isn't it?
You have to. I mean, you basically have to rent a room just for the fucking drum kit. You have nowhere to put it. I had no rehearsal space. I rented. I was in a rented a bedroom. I rented a room in a house. Whatever. I rented a space in a house. It was open to everybody. All the places. But where do you put them? Where can I rehearse? There was no rehearsal, so I got rid of them. And then I had a drum kit in the house, but it left like 7 months ago when I kicked the drum kit and the owner out.
It was a match set, huh?
So I guess I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny, but no, the drum kit got kicked out too. But yeah, so I haven't had any drums, but I can get some if I want to, but I just haven't even really thought about it right now. But I think I probably will need to play sometime soon.
You're a badass.
We used to rehearse in my basement, but now it's filled with artwork. I collect original artwork, and I have just pallets and pallets of artwork that I need to sell. So I don't really have any place to rehearse right now, but I guess I could set up a drum kit. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I have plans. I talked with two ladies, and we have something up our sleeve. So maybe in like a year when we can rehearse again or something.
Right. Yeah. Remember when there were shows and practices? I remember that. That was nice. That was nice when that happened.
It's so surreal. I keep going, man, I wish that this acid would just, wish I could cut.
Right.
The acid I've ever
Man, this stuff's really intense.
It's 4-way window pane all over the place.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty hilarious, actually.
But it's still 6 weeks in, and I'm just going, really? It's just thank goodness that we have technology, though. What would we do? What would we do if we didn't have phones, and we didn't have FaceTime, and we didn't have Zoom, and we didn't have party time or whatever? What would we do if we didn't have computers? I mean, what would we do if we didn't have Netflix and Hulu and
totally. Like I was talking to Billy Gould on the show from Faith No More, and we were talking about that, and then he was like, and how his kids were bitching about something, and it was like, look, you got like Netflix, you got like all this stuff that you can do. This is easier than like being in a van on tour back in the day. And I was like, oh, that's a really good way of looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's another thing. You know what? Triple dog multiplied by 5,000 dare you bands that are going to travel someday to go without a phone and to go without like a what do you call it,
without a GPS.
Exactly. No phone, no GPS. I fucking dare you, because guess what? We never had that. We did not. Yep. We did this last thing, the last little bout, but we also had a tour manager, and we didn't drive, we just, whatever. We didn't have to worry about it. It was me driving, me stopping at truck stops and using payphones, and me just reading maps.
Yep. And you got to make sure you had like the most up-to-date atlas, because in case they closed a road or something along those lines, you end up in some bizarre byway. And
seriously, it was insane. But you know what? I think it's amazing that I did it that way, because I learned a lot of things because I didn't have technology.
Yeah.
And I also have a built-in compass. I mean, I went to my friend asked for a ride home, super wasted, a couple months ago, and I brought them home to their place, and they go, how did you know where I lived? Did I tell you where I lived? I go, no. And they go, how did you? I go, because I was here they go, what, 9 years ago? And I said, yeah, but I just remembered where you lived, because I just remember stuff.
Your brain's wired in such a way that you retain that information. Yeah.
Yep. And so people just are they just go, holy friggin' crap balls. And I'm like, yep, holy friggin' crap.
Holy freaking crap balls, indeed. Well, and it's. I mean, the thing that's different that I would say from my perspective with touring is that it used to be that there were these long bouts of, you're just driving through somewhere. It's not interesting looking at all. There's nothing to see, but like there's engagement with everyone. And now everyone's just like whoosh, head down to the phones. If you're driving, it's like, well, do.
It's ruined. Oh, people don't even know how to even talk or interact anymore. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And yeah, it's horrible. People they don't know how to look at each other and just smile and say hello. Everyone looks, even when they go down the street, if they aren't looking at their phone, they're just looking at the ground and they just look up and you just go hello and they like scream bloody murder because someone said hello to them. And it's like,
right. Yeah.
And it's just the weirdest thing. I don't know. It's ruined a lot of crap, but I like it. I don't know what I would do without it right now. I probably would have jumped off my roof. I don't know.
Well, I will say this, that when stuff does, not that we necessarily know it's going to return to normal, but when we're able to congregate again and when there's shows again and things along those lines, I feel like there's going to be a lot of folks that aren't going to take it for granted. At least for a while. For about 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, people are going to be stoked to be like, yes, awesome. And credit where credit's due. That's Tony Ash is the one who first said that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. But, like, I think that's going to be... It's going to be interesting to see if that sticks. You know what I mean? If people start taking it for granted again afterwards.
Uh-huh. Yep, I don't know. I think it's really there are a lot of positive things about this. I mean, I'm really hoping that people just kind of reflect on themselves and reflect on each other and their relationships and their life. And, all these people that are thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds and thousands of people that are dying, you just go, man, but everyone is going to get this. We're all going to get it. It's just that some will survive and some won't. Everyone's going to get it. This is something that it's a virus that is so freaking strong at some point. It doesn't mean that, we're all going to end up in the hospital, but at some point, everyone is going to be have the virus. And, I just hope that people are we're just reflecting on stuff. I mean, I know that I am, and I'm really, really grateful that I miss my dog. I had a dog that also left like 7 months ago. She was up and died, but I'm like, I wish I had my boxer, Memphis. Her name was Memphis. She was. So it's lonely without her, and it makes me kind of like sad and stuff, but it's reality. So I'm home here, and I'm pretty grateful that I'm by myself because I don't know if I could have anyone else around me. I think I would be kung fu fighting.
Exactly. You need your space, and that's an excellent callback, by the way.
Circle.
Well, talking a little bit about reflection and retrospection. Would you mind? I'm sure you've gone over it many times, but talk to me about around that time period. In 91 into 92, right before you do the major label record, things whatever they call it, the year punk broke, right? You had been around for a while. The band had been around for a while. You kind of found your voice, did the first album. Talk to me a little bit about what that was like from your perspective. And the reason why I want to bring that up specifically is because you're a stunning badass on the drums, like an aggressive, awesome. You've got your own voice. It's very musical, but like you're a powerful drummer. And I'm always interested to talking to drummers in general, but also lady drummers. That there's a lot of stuff that it's like you almost need to like work 3 times as hard. It seems in some cases.
It's true.
And I want to know what that was like for your perspective. Like what was that like? I guess is the actual question that I'm like dancing around getting to.
Well, let's see. First of all, we were living over in England in 92. We were living in North London. and that which was really great. We played, our first tour to Europe was with Sonic Youth in '91, and our first tour that we ever did, I had done Detroit's and played in my basement.
Oh, nice. Keith's a very good friend of mine. He's awesome.
Who is?
Keith, the bass player. He's a
Keith Kramer.
Yeah, Keith Kramer.
Yep. Well, tell him I say hi.
I will.
Yeah, all those guys. That was our first. They used to come to Minneapolis all the time, and they played in my basement of my house in the mid '80s before Babes even started, and I was just friends with them. I went to, I went to all their shows, and I hung out with those guys. They always stayed with me. That's how else I got to meet all the musicians, because I let every band that came to town stay at my house. So I had it was great. I had a party all night. Bands would stay at my house. It was like the craziest thing ever. But so we went. Our first tours with Detroitson was headlined, and then it was White Zombie, and we played first. So we played first, then White Zombie, and then Detroitson, and that was super fun. And then we went on and we did, and then we went to Europe with Sonic Youth. And that was really, really great because they were one of my favorite bands. And going to Europe with them, it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, sounds okay.
Leading to that, you are correct. It just seemed like it was just such a big deal, It was always like three women in a band and who play this music and they dress like that, and I go, you know what, I've been reading about rock and roll at that point for probably 13 years, and not once did I ever hear about them going 5 men in a band and what they
Here's our special Men in Rock edition of Rolling Stone.
It's just super weird, and especially about what they wore and stuff. And like, what does it have to do with what we wear?
Completely irrelevant. Exactly.
We write our songs, we rehearse, and we perform, and we tour, and we work really hard. We used to rehearse at my house like 5 days a week. 5 nights a week. We practice day in and day out and day in. By the time we went out with Detroitson, I'm not kidding. I think that we were only together for less than a year. 10 months maybe or something.
Dang.
Yeah, dang is right. But we had already just been maybe it was a year. I don't have to see what the date is on that, but it was so crazy.
So it all happened relatively fast. You got kind of...
It kind of did. And thanks to Sonic Youth, we played at 7th Street Entry and all the other little places for free because no one ever paid it. Played the Uptown Bar, which was really great. I worked there.
Yeah.
For fun. We got a little money there. They paid pretty well. But we played for free. And then once we went to Europe with Sonic Youth, then that was when we came back and it was like, oh, we get hundreds of dollars now to play, and it was really fun. And and it wasn't about the money at all whatsoever, but it makes you feel a little bit better that they appreciate you, want to give you money instead of playing for free.
Exactly. It's a nice change up.
It does. But we worked so hard. We like I said, we had to work 5 times harder. It's kind of here. I kind of put it to let's say a group of men from the office go on a business meeting. They all go golfing, and then they have martinis in the afternoon. That's a business meeting. Could you imagine if a bunch of women in the office went on a business and they went to, or the men maybe go to strip club and have whatever? That's a business meeting. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
I know.
No, I know.
And women, what if women went shopping and then had lunch together? They would be fired.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of just the same thing. I kind of put that's the business world, and then we were in the rock world, but it's kind of, parallel with that.
Yeah, it's a different set of rules almost.
Yep.
and different. And again, all the harder to get any distinction or recognition for the stuff that you're trying to do, as opposed to these kind of ancillary aspects that really have nothing to do with what you're actually trying to present and what you're successfully doing. But because we live in like this ridiculous, preposterous, patriarchal society that focuses on, a nonsense-based economy most of the time, it's incredibly difficult. And you like to think that culturally we made like some strides forward, but not really.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, as a dude, let me just say sorry.
Thank you. I really do appreciate it. I really do.
I'm aware of it.
It's just absolutely crazy. So I just always just been like, when we got a contract with Warner Brothers, right, with Reprise, we got Richard Grable was our lawyer, who was Sonic Youth's lawyer, Madonna's lawyer. I don't even know everyone he works with, but he rules. He was out in New York. He still is, probably. We just saw him actually when we played up in Canada a few years ago, and I love that guy. He's just everyone who batted on our was like on our team. We really were so fortunate. Tim Carr, who was our A&R guy. He was the greatest. We couldn't have had anyone any better in the whole wide world to be our head cheerleader. He was the fourth member of Babes in Toyland. He was the greatest. Unfortunately, he's been gone for a few years now. He got murdered in Thailand.
Jesus, fucking really? Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we had Richard Grable. So we made sure, and Tim already knew this because he loved everything about us. He loved it that I had dreadlocks, that I didn't wear pretty pink dresses, had ribbons in my hair, that I freaking had, I wore cut off overalls and a freaking tank top, and I had tattoos and wear engineer boots and what I mean, he never said, Laura, you should really think about, you're in a female band and you're going to be, never, not anything. I love him so much and I miss him so much. I really, really do. He was a friend before he was our A&R guy. I knew him because he was originally from Minneapolis. So I knew him back when I worked at the punk rock club downtown. And then he moved to New York, and then he worked with everybody. He signed the Beastie Boys.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the greatest. So we found this. We got Richard Grable, because no matter what Sonic Youth did, it was just like, I will credit them for them and Minor Threat for probably a lot of me learning. Just
how things operate, how things work, how things fit together, stuff like that.
Just observing and just being completely my jaw on the ground, just going, yep, it doesn't have to be that way. Yep, it doesn't have to be that way. And really took their passion and their smarts and their just a lot of things. And I just, after just observing and really tried to make it our own.
Right.
And so we got Richard Grable, and we made sure that in this contract that we got 100% creative, what is it called? Artistic.
Creative control.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you guys can't tell us that we have to wear this. You can't tell us we have to write something like this. You can't tell us that we have to get a male manager to go on this tour with us. You can't tell us anything. Right. And there's no way you could have told us anything because I was in the fucking band.
Right. Totally. Yeah. No. And that's, that's something where a lot of that stuff isn't really focused about or talked about, but there's this idea that it's almost like manufacturing consent. Right? They want to talk to you like they're your buddy. And then what they're doing is they're gradually taking your freedoms away and putting you into a disadvantageous position.
Yep. They were like, oh, we have this, or was it our manager? We had a manager that was out in LA for a while. I can't remember if it was him or Warner Brothers. Like, oh, we have this guy that wants to do your video and this, and you're going to have to go. I'm like, no, I have a roommate that is a filmmaker, and he's going to do our video.
Right.
And that was that. we put our foot down. I was like, nope, that was that. He did our video, and guess what? He's won Grammys for Foo Fighters.
I was gonna say they're great. He's really good at it.
He did our Sweet 69. A lot of it was I had ideas too. He made the storyboard, but threw in like the synchronized dancing one and having the 50s scene.
Yeah.
And then the all women at First Avenue, just only girls, and fill the place up. Those were my ideas, and then the bird's eye view of us dancing. Those were my ideas, and he just fit them in there because we worked together, and he was my roommate, and he was my friend, and and after he did that, he went on, and now he just made a full feature film called Tuscaloosa that's doing very well.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
So check out Tuscaloosa and get it online. It is really a super good movie. It's pretty great. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be like in the 60s, I think 60s or 70s in Tuscaloosa, Mississippi. I think it is. And
that sounds right. Yeah.
It's really a good movie. I went to the preview. He invited me to that.
Alabama. It's Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yes, Tuscaloosa. Sorry, I'm telling you, these photos. I don't even know what my own name is right now. Hey,
better be written on back of one of those photos, huh?
Wait, you know me, don't I? I'm serious. My names and my everything is just mush. It's just like pudding. I'm just going, whoa, what? And it's kind of oof. But anyways, after I get to let go of it and move on, I'll get to put new files in my filing cabinet and delete those files because it's just been a whirlwind. But so anyways, so he did our video, and then it was really great, and Warner Brothers wouldn't let it get put on YouTube. It got taken off, and which was a drag. And
what was their rationale? Just screw you? That was
I don't know. They just, because they owned it, the song, and they didn't want people to get it for free. I don't really know. Never talked to him, but yeah. So then he went on and did really great things. But even our record covers. Oh, this photographer, and we're gonna have someone do that. It's like, no. I know people in my own backyard. Yeah. I know very talented people that can take our photo, that can do our layout, that can do all of this stuff, our makeup, our videos, and everything. And you know what? We help them, they help us. It's a win-win situation. It's not spending $5,000 to go to a photo shoot in LA because you have to fly out there, then you have to put us up in a hotel, and then you got to do, and then you got to pay that photographer. We live here, and I know plenty of photographers that are.
And it's part of the ecosystem. It's part of your world too, and it's more. It's almost. Yeah, it's not almost. It is better in that way that like it is. It's something coming from literally where you're coming from, and that's. I've never understood why more people don't kind of take that stand.
I don't know, because no one thinks like I'm a weirdo. I
noticed, for whatever it's worth. So,
but I mean, there's someone in your own backyard that knows how to do everything that you need. I mean, seriously, you don't even for electrical in your house, or even for someone redoing your floors. Don't go to a company. Ask a friend who just put something and say who knows somebody and help out someone else, like a smaller. You don't need a big business to do any of that stuff. We help out each other. We're friends and we're a community, and we need to help out each other.
For sure. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. I mean, that's when I think about punk rock or DIY or whatever, and I think about like what it's given to me, like it's I just look at it more like as a life ethos rather than as a musical genre, and part of that is supporting each other and realizing that how you choose, like where you put your money, where you put your effort matters.
Yes, it does. I've never ordered a thing from Amazon.
Yeah,
that's
I
never have. Never ordered a thing from there. I go I go here, I go there. I don't even, them boxing it up, putting all that wrap in there, shipping it, getting it to where it's going, and then someone driving it to drop it off at your door because you can't go to a fucking store.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's peak idiocracy, which is unfortunately where we're at now. Yeah. Unfortunately, can you talk real quick about just and I want to be mindful of your time also, but can you talk a little bit about the record about Fontanelle? Because I feel like the record you did with Jack and Dina was good and presented a snapshot of where the band was at, but I think that that record's aged pretty well. I feel like I actually threw it on earlier. I was like, God, this slams. This is still really good. And I know you don't listen to it, as you established, but
which one are you talking about?
The first major label one for Fontanelle. You did that with Lee and Brian Paulson. Is that right?
Is that the one that we did with him? Okay.
Yeah.
Because our first record was Spanking Machine.
Spanking Machine is and then there's Peel Sessions too.
I don't know any of that. I don't know that records or anything. And then I think we had To Mother. Maybe was the other one.
Yeah, that's the green kind of like lime greenish one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Cat's Mother on, I think, or something like that on the cover.
Oh, that makes sense.
Cat's but
wow, I never knew that. Okay.
Yeah. That is a fact.
And it's called To Mother, and it's okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a quick study.
Let's see. When we went to New York and we recorded it with Lee Ronaldo, I think that we were probably on tour and did a stop there because that's how we did stuff. We didn't do extra stuff. We just were like, oh, well, we're doing that, so let's just fit it in when we're already out there instead of doing a trip out there for nothing. Or maybe whenever we had to go anywhere, we would make sure that we had shows on the way there and shows on the way back. At one point, we were doing as many shows as the Melvins do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just except for we'd have a day off, but he's like, no days off. What do you do on a day off? You just get tired and you lose money and you'd lose time. It's like no days off. I needed a day off.
What's the Mike Watt saying? If you're not playing, you're paying.
Yep. I know. It's Iggy Pop's birthday today.
It is. Happy birthday, Iggy.
Iggy.
I love that he's got that Instagram where it says him and his bird just chilling out. It's the best.
He's so cool. And I just thought of that because they were on my stage for one of the South Bys with Mike Watts. Yep, it was really great.
Oh,
but anyway,
when he was playing with Stooges.
Yep.
Cool.
And so we recorded, and I really can't. I'll tell you a story, but I can't tell you much about. I don't remember recording that much because recording's just recording. You know what I mean? And then we did. Then Brian Paulson. I don't even remember where we did that. Oh, that was at Pachyderm.
Pachyderm. Okay.
Oh yeah, Pachyderm, of course. And Pachyderm, I loved it so much that I talked Kurt into recording there. I was just like, because he wanted to go somewhere where he didn't get into trouble that wasn't in a big city. And I said, where we recorded, it is so great. It's right outside the Twin Cities. I can hang out.
Cannon Falls or something, right? Like if I remember right.
Yeah, Cannon Falls. Yep, it's about 40 miles out of Minneapolis. And I said, go there. It's the studio, and you stay there, and you can hire a cook to cook for you, or just have a kitchen. I said, it's a house with a really great studio and an indoor swimming pool. He's like, oh really? And I said, and there's a little town with an antique stores and stuff where you can go to. Because I know all the shit they like and all that. And so they ended up going there. Because he wanted to go where it wasn't a city, where you just get in trouble and distracted and all that shit. Yeah. And I went down there and spent time, and we had so much fun, and took him to Mall of America, and took him into Red Wing, took him to the drive-thru at McDonald's. He was craving McDonald's.
As one does, I guess. Sure, yeah, why not?
Yeah, now I drive past, and I'm like, I look at it and go, That's the only time I probably ever did a drive. Now I get coffee at McDonald's but now not anymore because I quit coffee.
Good for you. Was that difficult?
It was very difficult. I just quit it like about 10 days, 7, 8, 9, 10 days ago, something like that.
I was just thinking I might want to do that myself. Just because
Yep.
like I haven't had any alcohol in like, you know, a month too, and it was like one of those things where I was caffeine free for like 11 years or something, which is crazy, 'cause especially when you tour, people look at you like nuts, like you don't have coffee, like what the hell? And it's like, well, no.
I love coffee.
That's the thing. That's what brought me back, is I legitimately like coffee. Like good coffee is freaking awesome.
It's the best. I love it, but I was having bad stomach problems, so
Gotcha.
I cut it out to see if it's going to make me feel better. So I'm you know, it's not going to happen overnight, and if I don't feel better, I'm going to fucking drink coffee again.
Rad.
But anyways, so Pachyderm, it really was just a great experience. And, and Brian Paulson, he also did the Slint album.
Yeah.
So he's a friend. He was originally from Minneapolis. He was in a band with one of my ex-fiancés. And so I knew him for years also. And so we just work with people we know. We don't work with strangers. And we knew Jack, you know. You know.
Well, didn't you do the Nemesis Sisters record? Didn't you do that at AMRAP? Didn't you, like, when there was a studio, or am I off base here?
I don't know.
Lori, come on.
I really don't know. Can you Google it? I'm serious. I really don't know. I haven't even looked at the album I don't even know what Nemesis Sisters. What is the?
That's the one that's got Sweet 69 on it, and it's got the Nile Rodgers.
Okay.
What's that? We Are Family. It's got that Sister Sledge. Sorry.
That's okay. One where we look like, it looks like a sideshow banner.
Yeah, it's like a circus looking. Yeah. That's the one.
And then my friend painted that. It's pretty good painting also.
It's a cool cover.
Yep, I love it. Dan Kalal, he's in Minneapolis too. See, we just have everyone do all of our.
Yeah, it's sorted.
Yep. I can't tell you if I have no idea where that was recorded. I don't know any. I really don't know. I'm sorry, sir. I cannot answer that question.
That's fine. Well, talk to me about like where you're at, like in the band. So that's like what, 95.
Okay.
And you know, you've been doing a lot of touring. There was, you know, the Painkillers EP that came out, like it was like after Fontanelle. Like you were hitting it pretty hard. What was the mindset within the band around that 1995 like era?
I think honestly, I never really had a bad time touring. I got along great, and some of the bass players, they're a little rough. But you know, it was, you know, I mean, it's just some were really friendly and some were just kind of not as friendly, or they had their, you know, it's hard. Sometimes it's just I don't know. Because they would come and they'd go, and they'd come and they'd go.
Mm-hmm.
One time Maureen said that she had to quit because her hip deteriorated and she doesn't have a hip anymore. But last time I saw her, she was walking. She had a hip.
She still had a hip.
That's a good story. Anyways, so then she was gone, and then I can't think we hired someone that I didn't hire anyone. Kat hired this person, and that was, can I just say, a fucking nightmare? I think that was right after, or it was maybe the second one after that. But and then we went to Europe with that person, and it was a fucking nightmare. And then I think then we maybe took a break again, and then that's when everything went to hell for a little bit. Kat pulled some shenanigans, and then I didn't talk to her for I think like 7 years or something like that.
Yeah, there's a pretty big break there for it seemed.
Yeah. Yep. And then I forgave her, and it's because Tim Carr died, and I called her, and then after I talked to her, I just had to let everything go, because you have to let things go, and you have to, you know,
it'll eat you up if you don't.
Yep. And just told her, and I just said, you know what, no fucking bullshit, and I've always been straight up with you, and I'm still gonna be straight up with you, and I know your shenanigans, I know your games, I know all this shit, especially as time has gone on and you're getting older and you're getting more deep into the things that you've been doing and your age, and everything is just like, yeah, girl, you need to get it together. But so it just kind of went from there. We just kind of chatted, and there was kind of pondering, and all that. And then those really kind gentlemen out in California helped us, and I'll never forget them. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. I told Kat day one when we started rehearsing in my house, I said, I just want to let you know, because it was probably even before we even did tours, before we went out with De Kreutzen and White Zombie. I said, I'm doing this, it's super fun, but I made the decision back in 86 or 87 or 88, whatever, 87 when we started. I said, when this isn't fun, I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm not going to do it anymore when it's not fun. And then after that California thing, it was not fun. And not only was it not fun, but it was also, I just knew that it was that it was pretty much physically impossible to happen again. So, and yeah, a big sigh. I know I get sighs too. I really do. I've seen all these really great pictures, and it upsets me. And all my photos of all that really great. I mean, they're really super great memories and stuff, but it makes me really sad because it's like, well, that's also something in the past. I'm not throwing dirt on it, but it's just really sad because I would just hope that, she would just want to choose to have a better life and have more fun and stuff, and it just didn't happen that way. And we had a great time for for almost 3 decades, because we took that break. But, we had, I'm telling you, really fantastic. And like I said, if I die tomorrow, I really don't really have any regrets. And I will be very happy. I'm very content. I've met the nicest people. I have done the greatest things. I have experienced and traveled and lived and tried to, it's pretty fucking great. I mean, even when my dad and my dad's been gone for 28 years. My grandpa's been gone for like 31 years, I think. And the Melvins were over for Thanksgiving when they were both alive. We all had Thanksgiving together. So I've known them for
awesome.
Forever and a day, plus 5 minutes. But I mean, it's just to have those friends that you've just crossed paths with hundreds of times through decades is just really super great.
I'm just pick right back up like where you left off too, which is always that's kind of, I feel like that's an aspect of playing in a band that maybe doesn't quite get a focus on, but the fact that you get these deep, like in the trenches kind of friendships with people, and then you can, and it's something where you don't see them for like a year, and then like it's just, hey, what's going on? Oh, cool, and there you are, and it's an amazing thing that music can do that.
Yeah, that was even before Babe started having Thanksgiving with them. But it's just, I just went to all the shows and bands would stay with me, and it was just all these things, But yep, super friggin' great. Wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm grateful.
Well, I wouldn't trade this conversation for the world, and thank you so much, Lori, for agreeing to do it.
Thanks. Anytime. Been really nice to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Likewise, and I'm very eager to see what all comes of the photos. You have to come back and give an update about that, because I bet it's going to be pretty badass.
Okay, I will. Keep in touch.
Will do. Stay safe, please.
Okay, dear. Everyone be safe. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yep, bye.
There she goes. That was awesome. Well, all right. That was Bruce Violet, and before that was Bluebell. Featuring Lori Barbero. The one-of-a-kind, completely awesome, totally badass Lori Barbero. That was great. I really enjoyed that. Hope you did too.
Can you hear me now?
Well, thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another stay-at-home edition of Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Is this thing on? Test.
RadioNeutron.com for the archives. The show airs on Radio Nope.
As we come to the close of our broadcast day.
Patreon.com/Protonic Reversal for the ability to get the episodes sooner. $1 a month gets you there. I'm not very chatty right now. I don't know why. That's fine.
Signing off.
A bunch of great stuff coming up.
Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the ships at sea.
Thanks, folks, sharing this show around. Appreciate all of you and the kind words. And
I've got
your time.
50,000 watts of power. I want to ionize the air.
The show's on Spotify if that's the thing you do. Reviews and follows and stuff help people find the show, but it's kind of gauche to ask, isn't it?
This microphone turns sound into electricity.
Most importantly, though, just stay safe out there.
Can you hear me now?
And take it easy.
Out on Route 128, you're dark and lonely. I got my radio on. Can you hear me now? 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 See the radio. And that snare drum and that drum roll means we've got a winner. If you're the fifth caller, or any caller at all, welcome to my top 10. I'd like to thank our sponsor. But we haven't got a sponsor. Not if you were the last man on earth. She was prepared to prove it. This one goes out to a special girl. But there is no special girl. It's the end of radio. The last announcer plays the last record. The last what? Leaves the transmitter. circles the globe in search of a listener. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is it really broadcasting if there's no one there to receive? It's the end of radio. As we come to the close of our broadcast day, got my radio on. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? This is a test! If this had been a real emergency, hey! This is a real